Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So I recently shared that several Democratic members of the House raised concerns about Republican members who had given tours, allegedly, to large groups of people in the days leading up to the attack at the US Capitol. For example, in a video to her constituents, Representative Mickey Shirley, not sure how you pronounce her first name, she said that she would make sure that any congressperson who aided and abetted Trump's insurrectionists would be held accountable. And then she specifically cited guided tours that were given to large groups just prior to the attack. Other Democratic members have corroborated this and said that these tours were being looked into by authorities. And they said that the tours stood out, these groups stood out, because all Capitol tours have been suspended in March because of COVID. So no names had been given, but one congressman stated that they were new members. Well, today we got confirmation of one. Representative Steve Cohen told a CNN anchor that Lauren Boebert was one of the members who walked a group through the Capitol in the days leading up to the attempted coup. Take a look at this admission by Representative Cohen.
Several of your colleagues have alleged that the rioters may have received inside help, including raising the prospect of tours conducted or with the okay of fellow sitting members of Congress. This is quite a charge to make. Have you seen any hard evidence to substantiate that allegation?
Only thing that I've seen, Congressman Yarmuth refreshed my recollection yesterday. We saw Congressman Boebert taking a group of people for a tour sometime after the 3rd and before the 6th. I don't remember the day. We were walking in a tunnel. We saw her and commented that who she was, and she had a large group with her. Now, whether they were people that were all correct or not, I do not know. She was a freshman. She might have had a large number of people coming to be with her on this historic occasion and just wanting to give them the opportunity to have a tour. But it was pretty clear that her team is the team. She's not on the home team. She was with the visitors.
But do you know that any people who were in that tour led by Boebert later attended the riot? That's the question I have.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So Boebert represents a district in Colorado, and now officials from her district have sent a letter to congressional leadership. They're asking that Boebert's actions be investigated. The letter stated that they have, quote, deep concern about her actions leading up to and during the protests that turned into a violent, deadly mob. They also stated that her tweets and statements made right before Trump's terrorist attack the Capitol encouraged a, quote, mob mentality. And Boebert is one of the QAnon conspiracy loons who I talked about recently. She's the newly elected congresswoman who tweeted out Nancy Pelosi's location while all this was going on. She tweeted it out to her followers as the Capitol was under siege. So here's the deal. Ms. Law and Order, which is basically the platform she ran on, that and the Second Amendment, she's had quite a few run-ins with the law. In September of 2010, Boebert's 2 pit bulls attacked a neighbor's dog after she allowed them off leash. That neighbor sued, and Boebert pleaded guilty to only 1 count of dog at large. She paid a $75 fine and basically suffered no other consequences. Then in June of 2015, Boebert interfered with the arrest of minors who were consuming alcohol. The arresting officer said, quote, Lauren continued yelling and causing the underage drinkers to become unruly. Lauren said multiple times that she had friends at Fox News and that the illegal arrest would be national news. She then failed to show up for 2 court appearances for that incident, and she was arrested again in December of 2015 because she failed to show up. Then less than a year later, in September of 2016, Boebert was charged with careless driving and operating an unsafe vehicle after she rolled her truck into a ditch. Once again, she refused to show up for court. A warrant was issued for her arrest. She was arrested and booked in February of 2017 for that incident. But after pleading guilty to unsafe vehicle charges, she only paid a basically $123 fine, and she was released. Now, Boebert is refusing to walk through the new metal detectors that have been installed at the entrance to the House floor. So you may have heard last week her bag set off the detectors, and Boebert refused to allow the guards to search her belongings. She yelled at them and basically pushed her way past and into the chamber. You know, she just reminds me of Soho Karen. She reminds me of all Karens. A white girl who has never had her ass handed to her and who thinks that the rules don't apply to her. She's like every anti-masker out there. They all have this sense of entitlement. They all believe they're special, that they matter more than anyone else. It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. It's like these people just never had a good ass kicking as a kid. Seriously. So Boebert likes to pretend that she's really tough. She incessantly talks about her Glock and how she's going to carry it into the Capitol regardless of the rules. This appears to be a complete sham, though, because she's apparently a complete pushover who will put up with just about anything, as evidenced by her history, because Boebert isn't the only one in her family who's had trouble with the law. In January of 2004, her husband, Jason, who she was not married to at the time of this incident, he was arrested for exposing himself to two women at a bowling alley. So Lauren, who was 17 at the time, was with Jason when he did this. And apparently that wasn't enough for her to walk away. She was like, oh, no, guy who exposes himself to other women? Yeah, sign me up. Love it. In February of 2004, he apparently assaulted her, and he was arrested on a domestic violence charge. Again, not enough for her to leave the relationship. Instead of leaving, in May of 2004, just several months later, they got into another physical altercation. This time she scratched his face and his chest, and then she apparently tore apart his residence. That was apparently where her criminal history began, because she was arrested and charged with third-degree assault, criminal mischief, and underage drinking charges. And given that they had such a wonderful, loving relationship, of course, they got married in 2005, the following year. Now they have 4 children that they can subject to their anger management issues. But beyond all of this, this is a woman who now, as a grown-ass adult in her 30s, fully believes in QAnon conspiracy theories. This means that this congresswoman who walks into the Capitol every day and is sometimes mere feet away from Nancy Pelosi believes in her heart, if she has one, that Pelosi is a baby-eating pedophile who needs to pay for her imaginary crimes. Oh, and yeah, she's carrying a weapon. Are you freaking kidding me? First of all, as I've said before, you seriously have to be a special kind of stupid to believe that a letter of the alphabet who has never once been proven correct about anything is correct about Democrats eating babies in the basement of a pizza restaurant. This woman poses a huge risk to Democrats. Why is this apparent lunatic allowed to walk around with a gun, let alone walk into Congress where she has access and the ability to shoot and kill other members of Congress? So the only silver lining to this story is that someone like Lauren Boebert makes for strange bedfellows. And here's what I mean by that. McConnell doesn't want these types of people in the Republican Party either. He doesn't mind if they're in the party, but he certainly doesn't want them representing the party in Congress, whether in the House or the Senate. He knows the long-term damage that they're going to cause. He knows that sane and rational conservatives, and yes, there are still some out there, are fleeing the party because they don't want to be associated with the insane rantings of these conspiracy theorists and openly racist supporters. And as we've learned, or if we've learned nothing else, McConnell is as ruthless as they come. We know this. We've watched him over the years. Pelosi is equally sneaky and underhanded. Now, normally, these wouldn't be compliments. I dislike both McConnell and Pelosi. But when it comes to something like this, the enemy of my enemy is my ally. So even if law enforcement can't prove that Boebert violated the 14th Amendment by aiding and abetting these insurrectionists that attacked the Capitol, my money is on McConnell and Pelosi. I think that they will work together and do whatever they have to get these whack jobs out of Congress. And I hope that they do, because they have no business being there. Anyway, guys, as always, like, share, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching and listening. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.